30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
'Hi,
My name's JC McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Good morning again. This is Jonathan Small, host and producer of All About You. And All About You is one of two different programs that I have the pleasure of hosting and producing live every single week at AccessTV.org studio. All About You is a show that's designed to give you, the viewers, some background information related towards the particular guest and the guest's life story. This morning on the All About You talk show, we have a person who basically comes from a family to some degree of professional sports. He had a tremendous professional boxing career. Very rare that this individual held 3 different professional titles during his course as a professional boxer. He had a brilliant performance against Thomas Hearns at one point that kind of put him at a different level. The guest this morning on the All About You talk show is no other than former 3-time professional world boxing champion, Iran the Blade Barkley. Good morning, Iran. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Iran. Iran, I believe you was born and raised in the South Bronx of New York.
Yep.
What was that like during your period growing up as a child, first of all, in the South Bronx?
Very rough. I mean, it was hard to grow up there.
Did that kind of make it tougher for you just to deal with everyday life growing up in the South Bronx?
Yeah, it made me tougher, but being that, everybody in the family it made everybody hard. Made it hard.
Okay. I believe you grew up or you ran with former rapper African Bombama. Is that his name? African Bombama?
No, African Bambaataa.
African Bambaataa, yes. He was one of the hip-hop.
Black Spades.
Black Spades. But this was before he was rapping, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. You also ran with Mitch the Blood Green.
Mitch Blood Green. Can't beat Bull.
Mm-hmm. So, again, the black, you said the gang or the group, whatever, you can clarify it, was the Black Spades?
Yeah, Black Spades.
Okay. How did you get involved with this particular group or gang?
How did we get involved in it?
Yes.
Well, it was like it was around the community, but we got involved when I knew them from my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. And also, in the South Bronx is considered the birthplace of hip hop music. Did you grow up in that particular era as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the whole rap scene and that vibe like in the beginning stages in the South Bronx?
It was excited, It was excited. It was excited hard, but it was the culture that's down.
Right, exactly. Who was the person that kind of introduced you into boxing at an early age?
My sister.
Okay. So she had encouraged you, or was you already boxing, or you just was?
No, she and my cousins encouraged me to come to the gym and I came to the gym and I started boxing with her and my cousin.
Okay.
Tony Bruce.
No, say because you stick it. That's quite bad.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta tell them.
Okay. So boxing, I mean, for you as growing up at that stage, was you just doing boxing in the gym or was you still boxing outside of the gym as well?
Nah, just as a sport thing for me, you know. I mean, I didn't like, I really didn't like to fight, but I had to get this shit forward because people was doing stuff. So I got involved and my sister took me through it.
Did that kind of help probably get you or stay away from a trouble, or was you still kind of running with the
that
black
was
foot?
that was it for me, for me to stay away from trouble and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So when you got into as a teenager, did you start to take boxing more serious? Were you thinking about becoming a professional boxer at that age as well?
No,
Oh.
no, I was just doing it just for exercise and stuff and to protect myself. I never liked it to fight, but it brought the fight out of me more.
Right. When did you start to realize that you was really good and that you could become pro?
When did I start to realize the term pro?
I mean, when first of all, when did you start to realize that you was really good at boxing, and then what was the next stage that you started to want to make boxing as a professional career?
It was keeping me serious and into the training and stuff.
He said, when did you, like, he was 20, what age?
And I started like around 20 years old.
Okay. Which division did you, I guess, become pro at? Was it the middleweight division?
Yeah, the middleweight division.
Okay. Any particular fighters growing up that you kind of looked up to, that you said, this person is really good, I kind of want to be like that particular boxer?
Well, it was like Ray Leonard and stuff, and that's how I started. I wanted to be like that, but and ideas of fighting him.
Mm-hmm. So what type of style, you say Ray Leonard, I mean, Ray Leonard was known for fast hands, he knew how to maneuver all throughout the ring. Did you try to practice and you wanted your style to be like Ray Leonard?
Yeah, I tried to practice, but it was kind of hard. But I tried it.
You tried it, right? Okay, so the next stage now, as you getting better and better, what was the turning point towards your life that you realized now that you're really going to take this serious and I'm really going to become?
What was what?
What was the turning point when you started to realize that I'm going to take this to the next level, that I'm really going to be a dominating professional boxer?
Well, I started to realize it when because like me and my sister trained together in the gym.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So your sister, you keep mentioning your sister. Was your sister like a good boxer too?
Yeah, me and my sister, we trained. Yeah, my sister trained. She was a professional fighter too.
Right. Okay. So as you're getting more and more good and you're getting better and better, do you remember your first professional fight that you had?
My first professional fight?
Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
When was your first?
Yeah, I remember my first professional.
Okay.
I remember it.
All right.
It was with a kid named Sanderline Williams.
Right. Okay.
In Atlantic City.
Okay. And did you win, obviously? I wanted to ask you that question.
Yeah. I turned professional there.
Mm. No, but I'm saying, was that first fight, did you win or did you lose, to be honest?
Say the question again.
Your first professional fight, did you win that fight or did you lose or was that fight a
Yeah,
draw? Okay, you won.
I won that fight. I stopped him.
Okay, they do that. Now you've gotten better and better, but you had a lot of different fights. You fought Roberto Duran, and that was a tough fight. You lost. Could you talk a little bit about that fight that you had with Roberto Duran?
Yeah. I fought that fight. You know, it was a good fight. It was a good fight to start. You know, to get into the sport, and with him, you know, Duran was
It's like they hit the mute. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
yeah. I ran to see like you must have hit the mute because we couldn't hear you. Could you kind of see if you could unmute yourself? It seemed like you went silent. Okay.
okay. Say it now.
Well, now actually you went silent. So I was asking you about your fight with Roberto Duran. Could you kind of give a breakdown again how that fight went, and let people know a little bit about that particular fight?
Well, I was like the sacrificed lamb to fight Ray Leonard, you know, for with Duran. You know what I'm saying? So they picked me to fight Duran because the next one would be the Ray Leonard fight, but they picked them, you know. So they just used me to fight Duran.
Okay, but I mean, during the fight, it was a tough fight that you had with Duran. Did you kind of look back and realize some of the mistakes that you made that might have contributed towards you losing that particular fight?
Well, frankly, I didn't make no mistakes. I mean, it was just a part of him being the great, you know, fight who was going to fight Ray Leonard next, and it was him.
Okay. You also had a big fight with James Tony. I don't know if they called him James
Tony.
Lights Out Tony
Yeah,
or something.
Lights Out Tony.
Yeah. Was that fight after he fought or before he fought Roy Jones? Because I know that was a big fight back in '94. So when you fought James Tony, do you remember that time span? Was that after the fight that he had against Roy Jones?
That was after, yeah.
Okay. So what was it like now going up against him? Because he was still a dominating middleweight. People still looked at him as a top fighter. So what was it like when you was fighting him at that particular fight?
It was a good fight. You know, I mean, Tony had his thing, his ways, and I had mine. You know, but I felt I beat him, and they gave it whatever.
Okay. So you don't look back and regret because you felt that you won that fight. So you don't look back at that fight and saying it's something.
No, I don't look. Nope.
Right. Eventually you had a couple other fights. Did you fight Michael Nunn? If I'm saying it correct.
Yep.
Oh, you did fight him. Okay.
Yeah.
What was that fight like when you fought against Nunn?
It was like a track fight. You know, he kept running around the ring, doing what he do, but it was, you know, it wasn't like really a fight. It was just a trying to catch me fight.
Okay.
And I did what I had to do.
Right. Well, you was known as a real hard hitter, or really like I guess you was a power kind of puncher. Trying to break down your boxing style. So you saying it was like you trying to catch up with someone running? I guess, was he running away from you, or was he just boxing?
Yeah, he was running like me. He was running like a track star.
A track star, okay. And you just couldn't. Somehow they gave him the decision for that particular fight as well. Okay. You also fought Nigel Benn. What was that fight like?
That was a good fight. I mean, Nigel was all right, but
Uh-huh.
nothing special.
Nothing special, okay. Now this is all leading up to probably your biggest fight when you fought Thomas the Hitman Hearns, who was really a dominating boxer, hard hitter. I believe he was the favorite going
Yeah,
into this particular fight. Um,
yeah.
how did you prepare to go up against Thomas Hearns, first of all?
Well, I studied him, and I prepared good for him.
Hmm.
So I mean, when it came through, I just said I got to do what I got to do.
Right. So going into the first fight, he was known for having, I guess, a good jab, and he was a hard puncher as well. He was capable of knocking people out.
Yeah.
Um, how did you approach going up against him inside the ring when you was fighting Hearns in the first fight?
I didn't care.
Hmm.
I didn't care how he was or what he was gonna do. I just did what I had to do.
Did he ever hurt you in that particular first fight when you fought up against him?
He hurt me one time, but I mean, I was prepared for it.
Right, right. Um, so at that point, you knocked him out, which was, I mean, he was knocked out against Marvin Hagler, so people knew he could get knocked out. But that was like a big surprise. I don't want to say a shocking because you probably felt confident that you could knock him out. But throughout the world, people looked at that as a real big shock. Um,
Yeah.
what was it like when you knocked him out?
Well, when I knocked him out, I just said, "Hey, I'm finally with the big guys now. Ray Leonard got to step up now."
Yeah, right, right. Well, I think at that point Ray Leonard was not boxing, so you still
Yeah.
wanted him. So for people who thought the fight against Hearns was just a fluke, you got lucky, y'all would have a second fight. Um, was you anxious to fight him again after the first fight?
It didn't matter to me. I said, if you want to fight again, let's fight.
Hmm. Now, leading up into the second fight that you had against Hearns, was you going to look to fight him the same way that you fought him in the first fight, or was you going to try to change up and do something a little bit
I just
different?
said, I'm just gonna get him out as fast as possible.
Hmm.
If I could, I'll just take him out. So
And during the second fight, it was a little bit close. I think this fight was a split decision. Did he ever hurt you in the second fight as well?
he hit me and hurt me one time, but I didn't really. I just stayed with the flow.
Stay with the flow, okay. So you would end up becoming victorious in the second fight that you had against Hearns. How did that make you feel though after beating him twice?
It made me feel good because the first time everybody thought it was a fluke. So
Mm,
second time I said, now what they got to say.
right, right. Was that was that fight for a championship belt? 'Cause I know you would end up having three.
Yep.
It was okay to do that. So again, you're on cloud nine. It seems like you just beat Thomas Hearns twice. Um, what was your next step after beating Thomas Hearns for the second time? Who was you looking for now? Was you still looking for Ray Leonard, or was you looking for someone else?
I was still looking for Ray Leonard. I said, well, maybe they'll throw him in there now. But nope.
Yeah.
Ray was calling the shots. He was like, hey, I don't gotta fight who I gotta fight. I'll just fight, you know.
And because you mentioned, because you quite, I mean, you're mentioning Ray Leonard quite often, so you feel very confident that you would have defeated Ray Leonard if y'all would have stepped into the ring.
Yep.
Okay. And why do you feel that way? I mean, what was it about your boxing style that you feel you could defeat Ray Leonard?
Because that's the way it was for me. I defeat him. I would have defeated him. I defeated everybody else. I feel Tommy took a shot which was a respectful fight. But Ray wouldn't come up and challenge. Ray played games.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think after Ray defeated Marvin Hagler, that was kind of his climax. I mean, that was what he was really motivated for, to come out of retirement again. And sometimes boxers, they kind of stay in the game a little bit past their prime or a little bit longer than they should have. And I think the last couple of fights that Ray had with Terry Norris and Hector Camacho kind of proved that he still wasn't the same fighter. I say that to say you would want to fight Ray Leonard when he was kind of either at his peak or very close to his peak. You wouldn't want to fight him as an aging fighter.
Hey, whatever way it is, you're a fighter. You know, your age or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the case. You're a fighter.
Right. Well, when you defeated Thomas Hearns, you defeated Thomas Hearns when he still was considered a dominating fighter. So nobody could take that away from you at that point. Now, living in New York, obviously people might recognize the last name. Your nephew, Saquon Barkley, is known as one of, if not the best running backs, certainly one of the best running backs. What was it like, watching him develop into a football player growing up as a child, if you can remember?
It was cool. I mean, it was cool.
It was cool and everything. I mean, was he really good? Could you see how good he would become as a running back and as a professional football player?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
He was good.
Okay, to do that. Now, you had several other fights throughout your boxing span. What was it like now after fighting Hearns? Was you still motivated? I mean, you keep mentioning you motivated to fight Ray Leonard, but was you still hungry? Because people say as a boxer, you got to really be hungry. Was that hunger still in you after you fought Hearns and you knew you probably wasn't going to fight Ray Leonard?
Yeah, that hunger was still there.
Mm-hmm. To do that.
You know, it didn't stop.
It didn't stop, right. And then obviously the South Bronx, again, is a tough place. I mean, a lot of things can go down at any given moment. What kind of kept you grounded? I mean, still, not wanting to get back into any trouble. I mean, I would assume at this point you've kind of cut ties with the Black Spades and everything. So you still try to keep yourself focused.
Once you was a Black Spade, you was a Black Spade.
Okay.
And that kept me, grounded and everything. So I just kept going what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, the Black Spades, is this like a typical group or gang? I mean, what is the Black Spades really known for? So people can kind of come away with the right impression.
Well, the Black Spades, they was more like protecting their ground around their neighborhood and everything. So that was, that was us. We did it, and it was like any ordinary other game. You come on our turf, you get beat up, that's it.
Mm-hmm. But you're saying, once you're a Black Spade for life. As a professional boxer, what your sister was trying to get you to do was to try to kind of get away from that type of gang element.
I got away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I got away from that. I mean, but I was still there for whatever, Once you was a spade, you was a spade.
Right.
And you protected your neighborhood. That was it.
Okay, to do that. So as your boxing career, I mean, you had a lot of fights throughout the course of your boxing career. You fought actually in your mid-40s, and you won, I believe, at that particular age or later on. What kept you boxing so long, let's say becoming as an older boxer? What kind of kept you still wanting to box?
So I was into it. I was in it.
Mm-hmm.
I was in it. I was in it to win it, and I felt like, hey, this is what it is. It's what it is.
And then at some point, like every professional boxer, you have to make a decision to retire. So what was it like, and what made you decide that eventually you wanted to retire as a professional boxer?
I wasn't getting the fights. I wasn't getting the fights I was supposed to get, and Ray Leonard wouldn't fight me, and that was that. So I just said, hey.
Yeah. But again, this desire to fight Ray Leonard, what made him so special that was the one person that you still had to fight? It seemed like to me you couldn't get him out of your system towards wanting to fight him.
Because he was the man. He was there. That was the guy that was there.
Mm-hmm. To do that, Ray. Okay. Well, there's no knocking Ray Leonard. I mean, Ray Leonard happens to be one of my favorite boxers of all time. So there's no knocking Ray Leonard and everything. So after you retired from boxing, what was your next stage in life? What were you doing after boxing?
After boxing, I just was just enjoying life, just going through life day by day. Whatever I wanted to do, I did.
Right, to do that. Now retiring from boxing, did you still wanted to be involved, like as a trainer or as a coach or mentoring people? Was there anything about boxing?
I go to the gym and I look at guys, and I thought guys was good and stuff, but I didn't want to be a coach or a trainer like that, because I seen guys that was trainers, and they just waiting for that one guy or one opportunity to get big, to get a guy big and stuff. And I wasn't sitting around like that. Nah, I said I'll do something else.
Okay. So you kind of cut ties then with boxing. You didn't want nothing to.
Yeah,
really
I just went around and just felt, hey, that was a part of my life. And
currently, I mean, as a boxer now, you hear a lot of stories that a lot of boxers really didn't make good use of their career. I mean, you hear both sides. You hear some boxers that have done real well. They've got their mindset, because boxing, for people who don't realize, can be a very vicious sport. You can end up getting brain damage. You can get injuries that you're never the same, almost like a professional football player. How was your overall health coming away from boxing? Did you get any serious injuries when you was boxing?
yeah, I got serious injuries, but I got serious injuries, but I didn't. It wasn't to the point. It was to the point where you couldn't speak and everything. I always kept myself to speak well and watch over myself and handle myself, man.
Well, speaking of what you just said, I just thought about the great Muhammad Ali, that some people say he stayed in the boxing game a little bit longer than he should have, and he ended up not being the same boxer or having the same type of health. I didn't even ask you this question, but how did you look up to Muhammad Ali, or how did you rate Ali growing up as a kid?
Ali was he was the man, when he was doing his thing and everything. But I looked at him like a good, guy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. Well, they say Ali is the greatest. They put him up there with Joe Louis and people on that level. So Ali, obviously is recognized throughout the world. Currently, today, you still reside in the Bronx, or the South Bronx.
Yep.
What is it like now at this stage of your life living in the South Bronx?
It's gotten a lot better. But that's coming from where the 70s and 80s was. It was a lot of, broken down things and tore up things, but now it's better.
It's getting better, yeah, exactly. And then when you look at, obviously, I don't know if your football team is the Giants or you root for the Eagles because of Saquon Barkley. I mean, what's your professional football team that you?
I never had one.
Oh, you never had one? Okay.
No, I never had one.
All right.
I just, when my nephew was playing, I just said, hey, that's great. I'm glad for him.
Do you still kind of pull for the Eagles though because he's playing for the Eagles?
I don't pull for nobody. I don't like football.
Oh, you don't like
I
football?
didn't really.
Okay.
I just sit back. I know he's on the team and everything, and I wish him well.
All right. Any other sport? I mean, the South Bronx is the Yankees. Do you like baseball or you don't care for baseball?
I like the baseball, but I didn't really go to baseball games. I didn't really care.
Okay. So boxing kind of was your thing? I mean, as your sport? That was the one sport that you kind of looked at?
That was the one sport that I looked at.
Okay. What you think about today's boxing era now differently than when you was boxing? Do you like the state of boxing where it's at today?
No.
Okay. Any particular reasons why? I mean, when you say no, any reasons why?
You said what?
What are some of your reasons why you don't care for boxing the way you felt about boxing when you was boxing?
Well, these guys, these younger guys that came up now, I mean, we done cleaned out the whole division for them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't fight.
Right.
They ain't fight like we fight.
Right. Well, he recently retired, but would you say Floyd Money Mayweather was someone that kind of was one of the last dominating boxers that you could say ran into your era, but still was boxing a little bit even when you retired? What's your views on Floyd Money Mayweather?
Well, I mean, me knowing Floyd, he did what he was doing for himself. So he felt that he was a little more, to keep going. That's good. He made everything he can make. So why stay?
Right. Why stay? Well, he came along in a different era towards your hero, Sugar Ray Leonard. Some people say that could have been the fight of the century if those two would have ever came along, maybe in the same era. You think Ray could have defeated Floyd Money Mayweather, or you think Floyd Money Mayweather would have defeated Ray Leonard?
Ray would have took care of it. It would have been a good fight.
A good fight, right. Well, I mean, I know you got some prior appointments that you got to kind of get into. I mean, we're getting towards the end of the show, I like to ask every single guest towards the end of the show, what are you currently doing? What are you currently looking to do? Any future plans? We've got to let people know towards the end of the segment what life is like now for Iran the Blade Barkley.
That's the kind of thing that Iran the Barkley is figuring out.
Okay.
I'm just figuring out life and just taking one day at a time and see what's my next move.
Well, that's a great way to end the particular show. I always try to find a great subject. I always try.
Right now, I got a fight that I always got to fight. I'm going through a cancer thing right now, and I got to fight that. So my health is great and more than it,
Right. Well, definitely keep your health. I mean, the best you can. Keep your faith and everything. You was a tremendous boxer, as a pro boxer. People look up to you in some ways as a dominating fighter. The Thomas Hearns fight's obviously going to stand out towards your career. You come from a well-groomed family. You made the best of your life with what you have done, and I definitely appreciate you being a guest this morning on the All About You talk show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate to be on it. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Likewise. Okay.
All right.
My man.
All right.
Okay. Okay, this is Jonathan Small. I had just enjoyed hosting this edition of the All About You talk show with former three-time boxing world professional champion Iran the Blade Barkley. I mean, he comes across as a man speaking his mind. He comes from the heart. He doesn't really bite his tongue towards what he says. He's very confident in himself. He looks at him. He doesn't, other than Sugar Ray Leonard, it wasn't too many, and the great Muhammad Ali. He still kind of feels like he was the man from his own self. And I thought it was a straightforward type of interview that I had with Iran the Blade Barkley. Currently, I'm working on putting together a show for next week. It's kind of leaning more towards a face-to-face public affairs show, but anything is possible. And until I see you again, for viewers out there, have a very blessed day and keep the faith. Thank you.